Hey guys, this is Ben back with you in the model shop. Today I'm going to show you some more of the progress we've made on the USS Independence, but specifically I'm going to address painting these 1/350th scale airplanes that we have going on here. So we'll cover kind of where I'm at with each of the individual air wings, and also go over painting the SBD torpedo planes. Sorry, TBF torpedo planes, and how I go about doing all that. So let's get started. Alright, here we go with our SBD torpedo planes. As you can see, I've got them assembled. These are the three that are going to have the wings out and ready to go. The torpedo bays, closed, and these will be displayed on the ship ready to take off. I'll have the canopies closed on them as well. The other three, like I mentioned in the previous video, as you can see right here, you can have the wings installed on them like they're going to fly, so you have to put it together like that, or like in this configuration, wind up gluing them something along those lines so that they're closed, folded up, and then we have our torpedo bay right down in there. You can see that. We'll paint that all up. Alright, so what I've done so far, the engine area I blocked off with silly putty, and then the blue is the micro mask. So the idea is we're going to go ahead and spray paint all of this, and then I'll run a razor blade, my X-Acto knife, around this edge where the paint's at, and we'll peel that off so it's nice and clear. On the Wildcats, I didn't do that. I just went ahead and spray painted the whole thing, and then I used my knife or a toothpick to scrape off the area that I wanted clear. But these are a lot bigger. It's a lot more prominent. There's a lot more glass. And I wanted a way to like mask them off so they're a little sharper. So anyway, we'll go ahead and we'll bust out the airbrush next, and we'll get we're gonna use some intermediate blue, just like we did on everything else, and then we'll use white for the bottom. We'll just go with flat white like I did with everything else, and then for the top, I actually think we're gonna use dark sea blue. It's flat. I think it'll work in tone. It'll be the correct tone for, you can get the idea here, for what we're trying to go for here. These are the three colors. I think that'll work out alright. Alrighty, so we have our initial primer coat on. Let's zoom in here. As you can see, the detail on these things are really nice, and they really start to pop out. So, alright, we're going to let these dry for a few. The next thing is going to be masking these off. Getting the white, I think, on the bottom. We use a silly putty mask. We'll do the white, and then we're going to have to do something silly putty along the sides here. We'll have to put silly putty along the sides and the tops of the wings so we can do the darker blue up on the top, which for the time being, like I said, is going to be dark sea blue. I think is what we'll use, because that's nice and dark. I know it's not glossy, but alright, let's let these all set up for a little while. Alright, it has been many minutes, probably an hour or so, so we'll move on to just doing some silly putty masks here. I'll do this on camera. Silly putty, this one's yellow for some reason, but it's still silly putty. So the bottoms are all going to be white. Not too much rocket science there. This area, right in there, this is supposed to stay blue. So I'll try and mask off with the silly putty that edge of the fuselage, but we'll still try and get as much white paint as we can. Whoops, sorry, stay in the camera here. As we can on the bottom of the elevator. Use your toothpick so you can push this on and roll your silly putty down. Okay, so you can see here we have kind of our bottom, and then I tucked it in as close as I could. Hopefully you can see that from the elevator. Just do something like that. I might push it down a little, make it wavy. See if we can get the other side on. Just take your silly putty and pull it long. Get a thin strip like that. What I like about silly putty is it's easy to be not consistent, introducing some variety into the masking, which, you know, implies that you airbrushed this edge by hand. So just get up here by the nose. We want this to kind of like push down. And just take kind of a look at it head on, just to make sure that it's mostly straight across there. Another bonus, all this silly putty, we'll be able to just take this and stick it on the, you know, our painting surface like this, and it won't blow around anywhere, and we'll be able to easily paint everything. I just drug a little more down to kind of soften up this edge. That transition there off of the wing and back down is not so shallow. We don't want too much white there. You can use your reference material, figure this out, but essentially that's where you want things. I also can see here I cleared away right down into the very edge of the lower elevator on the bottom side, so we get right up to the fuselage with the white, or at least try to. And the rest of this, I'm not too worried about white getting on anything else. Alright, that's that. We gotta do the rest of these. We'll paint it up and let it dry a little bit, and then we'll peel off the paint so you can see what it looks like. Alright, we're done painting. This either worked or it did not. Nice thing about silly putty is you can use it all over again. Alright, so clearly some overspray on the wings. That's fine, I'll touch that up. There's the bottom. Let's see if I hold it. There's a profile view, and like so. Like so. Not too bad. Let's check out one of these guys. Here is a little more diligent about getting the silly putty on the top. So there's the bottom. Here's our sides. Didn't quite go all the way to the edge and the tail there, but that's fine. We'll just touch that up. I think that looks pretty good. A couple areas need to be touched up, but overall not bad. I think the biggest thing, like I said, right here, see, clearly there was overspray. That's not a problem though, because we'll touch that up, we'll shoot it from the top straight down, and it'll look great. Also, it allows an opportunity for some fading and fiddling around with adding a little bit of wear and tear. Oh, actually I just realized none of this overspray matters because it's got to get the dark blue. The dark sea blue is going to go on top, so it's okay that that happened. Lucked out there. Alright, let me go ahead and get these all pulled off here, and then we'll talk about the next step. Alright, so these turned out pretty good. I got, one of them's needs a little bit of work, so I'm going to go off to the side. So, as you can see, without any cleaning up, that's pretty good. The next part's actually going to be fairly easy because what we're going to be doing is masking off almost everything we don't want painted and just leaving the exposed surfaces along the top. The most difficult thing, and I may do this in stages, will be masking along this edge. We want a little gray stripe to end up right along here, this lighter intermediate gray, and have it dark up here, but we also want the wing to get painted. I may do this in two parts. I may mask off right up to the edge here, paint the wings, and then go ahead and mask off down here the wings because they'll be the right color, and roll my silly putty up on the top here, and then we'll just shoot the surface areas. So that actually might be the way to go. Alright, we'll go ahead and I'll get something masked up here, and that'll probably be the next thing we look at before I go ahead and shoot these. Well, I did want to mention one more thing. Here are the individual wings. And as you can see, there was like some serious overspray because I just put a piece of silly putty down, flipped it over, and shot it. So the solution to this, since we want the bottom to stay white, is I will put like a bed of silly putty down, squish this into it white so that it's not possible for overspray to get underneath it. And then we'll just shoot the top. But not really worried about this because we got good surface coverage along that leading edge, trailing edge there. And so when we push it down, the excess white will get taken care of. It should be all one uniform color on the top there. Alright, pressing on. Alright, here we go. We have one of them painted up. We'll pull this silly putty mask off and see if it worked the way we want, or at least close enough so that obviously we'll have to touch things up with an airbrush, but okay. There's our big reveal. This side's a little better. I'd like the second darker tone to come down a little bit further. Over here it's plenty high. But I think the color overall is good. Here's one of the wings. Go like that. This has to be painted. And the bottom of the wing looks nice. These get folded up, something like this. So I think that's a good color tone. It just needs to come down along the side there. So, alright, let's go ahead and get the rest of these painted up. Alright, back in action. So it's been like a whole bunch of days between that last segment and this one. Sorry about that, this has all kind of been pieced together, but as you can see, I got the decals on and did a little bit of detail painting, got everything kind of adjusted to the point where ready to take the masks off. And like I said before, I used this liquid mask, the micro mask here, and I've never used it before, and I wondered how well it would work in terms of keeping everything protected. So it worked out really well. I got a nice X-Acto blade here, and what we'll do is just score along the paint under the canopy where I separate. Try and get a nice edge. Just like that. And then the back, this is a little bit more difficult because the turret ball is round, rolls around here. This is a little tougher. There it goes. And there we have a nice clear turret. So okay, there we go. This is probably all upside down. I should probably be showing you like this. I got the camera turned around the other way. Anyway, that worked out really well, and now all we have to do is it looks like I got some green paint back here. Alright, so anyway, what we have to do next is paint up all of the windscreens. There we go. Now it looks like it's supposed to through there. And we got to put some, you know, little details on the front here. And we got to paint the engine still on the landing gear and all that stuff. So that's going to take a bunch of monkeying around. But they look pretty good. I also did a little bit of work on, not the ship, but the little airplane moving equipment. Let's take a look at that. Alright, here's a look at the flight deck. Let's zoom in here. Okay, I threw together one of the Jeeps and 3 of the little tractors here. I'm just going to paint those like a navy gray or something like that. The Jeep, as you can see, has the windshield right in there. I'm probably just going to paint that black. I don't think I can make it like totally see-through or anything. And we may have it doing, I don't know, I might just park it off to the side right there. And I don't remember if I showed this or not, but I also was able to get all the landing gear on the entire Wildcat air wing. And as you can see right there, it's still black. The strut right there is black. So those need to be painted white. And then the propellers need to be detailed and they need to go on. I was able to get different numbers on the decals in each plane. Obviously that one back there is falling off. And so is that one. Those are on. Those are there. Anyway, it's a bunch of work, a lot of monkeying around. But it's better than nothing. So I'm going to go ahead and work on those next to see if we can't get the airplanes and everything kind of wrapped up. I ordered some new figures. Those are supposed to be coming in the mail. We'll talk about those when they show up next year, but this has already been a pretty long video, so we'll see if we can't get some new material up later this week. Thanks a lot for watching so far.